All right. Y'all see the title? Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. The Uvalde shooting and the every man for themselves mentality are just symptoms of a larger issue. So, for those who don't know, the Uvalde shooting occurred, I think, second largest mass shooting in the United States. Um, the police that guard around the school um, apparently did not try to fight him. Number one, they didn't try to fight him. Number two, they kept parents out. The police came and made sure that the parents did not get their kids out of that situation. And then they got their own kids out of that school. Now, to me, obviously, this is very despicable. Everybody, of course, is now virtue signaling. Even Donald Trump is saying that we need to have, basically have your daily penis inspection at schools now. Basically have the TSA style enforcement in schools. Uh, Goes to show once again, my base Drumpf, right? My base Drumpf, the guy who's gonna overturn the deep state. No, he's not. That's just retarded. Anyway, this is a much larger issue. As the recession comes, as things get a lot tighter, you're going to have this sort of I'm going to take care of mine, and I don't care about anybody else. See, the thing is, this is the false idea of the United States. This is what happens to a point when things are built on individualism. Now, I say that as somebody who's a fairly every man for themselves mentality. I will try to help and be nice, sure, but at the end of the day, there are limits to it. But I think when you have folks who openly just just flagrantly don't care, and they would rather take care of themselves or take care of their family, such as we saw with Uvalde and the cops. It's not pretty. But this is a mentality that I think will continue to be shown. I think it shows the eroding of the United States and the false notion that the United States is somewhere that, like I said, the false notion that basically, just because we're individualists doesn't mean we don't help people, this and that. Of course, it's bullshit. It's one of those things where it's like, what can you do for me sort of mentality. It's kind of a little root off from that little spider web off from that of I'm not going to do something unless you do something for me, right? That's a very strong mentality, especially in the United States. You're going to have a fancy car and everything else like that. You may flaunt it in people's faces and say, ha, look at me, I've got this big old car. But the thing is, though, they're going to make sure that it's in, a garage, right? Or they're going to make sure that there's somebody that guards it or whatever, right? Maybe I'm stretching a bit here. Maybe I'm being like a swami here, but nonetheless, that's my view on it. It's the same type of thing with folks that are like, oh, we should get rid of folks with guns and all this sort of, but when it comes down to them being protected, you bet your ass they're going to have folks that have firearms. You absolutely bet they're going to have folks that carry the tools. So, I mean, it's that's kind of another aspect of every man for themselves, right? It's the same type of thing what's going to occur when people go bust. There was a time, at least it was imaginary, there was a time when they'd say, well, I sent a recommendation letter to X place or whatever so that you can get another job. But that probably happened maybe further up the pay scale. For like a lowly, I'll just go ahead and reveal my own thing, but being a lowly maintenance guy chances are you're probably not going to get a recommendation letter to somewhere else. You have to bust your ass and apply and hope that indeed gets the right information and all this sort of thing. And, you hope for the best, right? So in this every man for themselves mentality is ingrained in the American consciousness. This sort of sense of you have to take care of yourself. You can't be worried about what other folks are doing. Even something as simple as you see a group of guys going and beating a dude up. Are you going to go over there and stop them? Well, chances are probably not, because they could have guns, they could have knives. Are you going to be a hero? Or are you just going to say, nah, fuck that, and continue on? Or whichever it is, Now, it depends. Obviously there are limits to it. It's like if you see someone that's having a heart attack or something like that, or choking, and you're a paramedic, and they find out about that, you will get in trouble, because there are laws on the books that say if you are a paramedic, you have to do that. But that's a different type of, that's more of a shaming. You have to do it, or else you're going to lose your job, or you're going to get jail time because of it. But yeah, I don't really know if this is getting too rambly, but this is ingrained mentality. This isn't really something surprising. It's shameful, absolutely, to see what the Uvalde police did. The Uvalde police, however we pronounce it. But it's something that is fairly common, It's a fairly common attitude in the United States. This sense of, I'm going to take care of mine. I don't give a fuck what happens to you. Now, does that go on in other countries? Absolutely. But I can't speak to them. And I have no idea what the context is. So I'm not going to do that. But I will say is that the United States has that sort of concept because it's baked into the larger individualist mindset. It also comes down to just the whole, if you can come to this country and succeed, you should be able to make as much money as you want. Of course, what they don't tell you is, you got to pay your taxes, you have labor laws, this and that, but those can be skirted as well. And I have plenty of examples of those, but this is the mentality that has always existed in this country. And now that, the Uvalde police, who basically were just like, fuck this, we don't care. Now they're getting shamed. I think that's all I have to say on that. It's a mentality that runs deep, and you're not going to just get rid of it poof because a system changes or whatever. It's something that runs deep in this country. There are limits to everything, and we see the strains being put on the system socially, economically, and everything else. What will happen from here? Your guess is as good as mine. I'm not going to be a soothsayer. I'm not going to say anything deeper than that, but just be aware of it. Anyway, that's all I got. See you later. Goodbye.